Well, hello, everybody, and welcome to Digium Live. I'm your host, Brian Ferguson, and with me today is Alejandro Gutierrez from Tech for Canada. He is in Huntsville visiting us for Ashes training. Welcome, Alejandro.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.
Great. So today we are going to talk about adoption of voice over IP in companies. So the adoption rates in the United States for voice over IP is going up and pretty steady. But that's not really the case everywhere else in the world. So being from Canada, can you kind of give us a feel of what are some of the reasons why the adoption rate might be a little lagging behind?
Sure. Well, for people to get into voice over IP, you're going to need three things, right? You need first real awareness of what voice over IP can do for them in terms of cost savings, features, and mobility, right?
Okay.
You also need to have good voice over IP providers with reliable service and good affordable equipment. When there is a place when you're missing one of those things, then people struggle to get into voice over IP.
Right. So you talked about kind of getting a quality provider. I know one of the things that people have to do is just make sure that their infrastructure is ready. What kind of things do you recommend that people do to make sure that they're ready?
It's always a good idea to have a site survey, a proper site survey, when you evaluate the bandwidth, the network conditions, and see if your company is actually ready to move into voice over IP.
Okay. So one of the major research firms for our industry, Nemurtis, did a research study where they found that only 43% of companies that adopted a voice over IP system were actually happy with the implementation. So why do you think that number is so low, and what can people do to increase their happiness with their investment?
In my opinion, this is a lack of training, either to the end user or to the company that actually implemented the solution.
Right.
So one of the key to success is actually making sure that you know what the customer needs, what is going to make their jobs easier, right? And then focus on that features and that functionality that is going to provide them the features that they need.
Okay. So one of the big problems that we've seen and that people have done articles on is that people spend a lot of money for these voice over IP systems, but their staff doesn't really take advantage of 10% of what the system is capable of. What are some of the roadblocks that are keeping people from using all these features?
Well, the main roadblock is fear of change. People are afraid of change. They do not know if that system, how to use that system, because they were already good with the system that they had, right? Again, proper training before the installation, during the installation, and after the installation. Managers tend to think that everyone knows how to use a phone and their system, but in most cases, that is not always true. So they need to know that their employees know how and when to use the features.
Right. And so I know some of the times companies just buy too much phone system, right? They have way too much for what they really need, and they pay a lot of these extra licensing fees to get all these features that they never use. How do you, as someone who resells these phone systems, make sure that you are offering systems that give them enough, but not too much to where they're spending unnecessary money?
Well, we don't have to worry about giving too much for them, because one of the main advantages of Switchvox is that it comes with every feature included.
Right.
IVRs, call queues, voicemails, it's all in there. So you don't have to pay extra for a feature license. What we will do is that we will do an assessment with the customer and see what is the one feature or features that they will use the most and focus on those.
So we've been talking about underutilization of these systems. What is one feature that you think is really underutilized that people can take a lot more advantage than they take today?
Yeah, it's presence along with contacts. I think that is one of the features that can really save you time. Knowing if someone is busy or unavailable before actually sending the call, or dialing by name when you don't remember the extension number. Not many people uses that. So again, the company doing the installation or the reseller needs to make sure that you show them those features.
Sure, and that kind of takes a whole culture shift for the company too, to make sure that everybody understands why that's valuable, because if one person's not doing it, then it makes it
everyone needs to be in the same boat.
Right. So when you sell a system, what kind of training do you provide, or what kind of training schedule do you recommend for customers to make sure that they are getting the most out of their system afterwards?
We begin our training before the system is in production, and that's something that it's really important, because That way, the users, when they get to their office and they have this new phone, they already know how to use it.
Right.
And usually we do this in small groups, in a controlled environment, where they can just play as many as they want with their new system, see their new features, see how they can adapt to them. So it's not like they go to work on Monday and they see this new phone, right?
Right.
They already know how to use it. So it's always a good idea to begin before, the system is in production.
Sure.
And then continue to just keep an eye on them.
All right, so that's really great information. I think it's really going to help people make a little more out of their phone system than they have. So why don't you tell our viewers a little bit about what your company does?
Sure. Tech for Canada, it's a value-added reseller. And I emphasize value-added because not only we have some of the best unified communication solutions in the market, but we are also a training facility. And we spend a lot of our time training people about voice over IP, creating awareness so that they know what they're getting into. And you can know more about our company if you visit our website, techforcanada.com. We'll be happy to help you.
Great. Well, again, thank you for your time, Alejandro. Hopefully you've enjoyed your time here in Huntsville.
Yes, I did.
Thank you, everybody, for watching, and we'll catch you next time on Digium Live.